Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Light Council series, the show where we are having enlightened conversations to help awaken the light within and elevate the world. I am your host, Elizabeth Plancon, a soul purpose activator, soul gift activator, spiritual mentor, and healer, and the creator of the Purpose and Abundance Activator method, which helps you dissolve your blocks and your limitations, calibrate your frequency to your next level of a purpose and abundance that you are meant for. I'm so excited to have my guest Janelle here today with us and what we're going to dive into. I know that Janelle has a gift that she's going to share at the end, so make sure you stay at the end to hear all about that free gift. But if you want a catalog of all the free gifts of my past guests, you can do that. You can get access to that by booking a complimentary a Purpose and Abundance Activator call with me consultation so we can talk about where you're at and where you want to go. And you will get as a gift from me a catalog of all of those freebies, which is worth over $1,000. So you can do that by clicking the link in the description below. So without further ado, I would love to bring on Janelle to share with us who you are, what you do, how you serve the world, and what is your favorite way to help others.
Well, Grand Rising, beautiful. And I'm really excited to be here. So, my name is Janelle, and I have been a spiritual mentor for over 10 years. I have, I've, been involved in spirituality my entire life. However,
Mm.
I've been a spiritual mentor for the past 10 years, and I love it. I love what I do. I work with helping women who are looking to make a connection, to clarify that connection, and to calibrate that connection with their spirit team, with souls on the other side. We generally start with the angelic realm because that's who I mostly work with, but it's not
Mhm.
all that I work with. I am the founder of the Mind Energy Transformation Movement, and that is where we bring cognitive energy, your spiritual frequency, and your soul identity into alignment so that you can
Mm.
evolve and step into who you're meant to be. And we've made it into a movement because I'm a very big believer in community. And
Mhm.
this is what the energy now is all about, is community, right? We're
Yeah.
moving into an energy of being part of a community, and we are all connected.
Mhm.
So why not? Let's make it a connected community.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and I tend to work with lots of different frequencies, and I work
Mhm.
with lots of different amazing women. And I find that as we work together, there are things that each of us bring to each other. And as we evolve rather than just become, we actually evolve as part of the human consciousness.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that so much. And definitely about the community piece, right? I mean, this is kind of like why I started this series in the first place was to create this
Right.
community and bring other light workers, healers, service providers together to share their gifts, to share their world, creating a community and helping the world because yes, we are all connected. And essentially that's, part of my purpose too is to help elevate and activate other people's purposes because when they do that and they go out and do their work and they're elevating their clients, then those people go and elevate other people around them because, again, we are all connected. And that's how we're
Right.
going to raise the frequency of the world. We're going to shift the world into healing rather than into the trauma that it's going through right now. And essentially, that's how we save the world, right? And humanity. And I know it sounds big and like really like a very abstract thing, right? But it's just really what the world is needing right now. So thank you for your work. But I would love for you to share a little bit more, maybe in more detail about your movement. Like when people come to you, where are they at in their lives? And, when they're working with you and maybe there's not an end for a little bit or, maybe after a few months, like where do you find that your clients have transformed the most and how has it changed their lives?
Okay. When women come to me, they're often at the stage in their life where they're ready for the next chapter. So I tend to find most of the women I work with around 40, 50 and beyond because they are looking, they've gone past the stage of all the roles that we're in, right? So, we become a mum or a wife or a partner or whatever. And there's all these labels and roles that are put on us. So I find that when women come to me, they're aware of spirituality, but they're
Mm-hmm.
not always practicing,
Right.
the spirituality. So I find that working with women who are they've, they've shopped around, I guess. It's a little bit like they know that perhaps they're seeing things out of the corner of their eyes. They're having dreams. They're thinking that they're getting these thoughts and they're using their intuition, and they've gone to crystal shops and gone into crystal shops. So they've learned a little bit from here, and they've read a book. So they've learned a little bit from there, and they've gone to a seminar and they've learned a bit from here. What we do is we bring it all together for them, and
Mm-hmm.
we help them to actually put it all together so that it's what works for them. So we don't sit and say, this is the only way to do this.
Right.
Uh, when they first come to work with me, the first thing we do is we have a one-to-one chat. And even though mostly I work with the women in groups, because again, it's the community, right? And it's great
Mm-hmm.
because they get to see what others are seeing, doing, feeling, evolving into, and they get
Mm-hmm.
inspired to do the same. So when they come to me, the very first thing they do is we get them to meet their guardian angel.
Mm-hmm.
So that
How do
gives
you
them
do that?
then the confidence. Well, I actually go with them. We do a meditation. I go with them. I take them in. I get to meet their guardian angel. I ask permission from them to share their
Mm-hmm.
name. They then share their name with me. I share it with them. The clients then get a little certificate with it gives them the frequency of the angelic name that's been given to them. It gives them the reason for why that particular guardian angel is with them, and it gives them the confidence to be able to speak to them.
Mm. So why is that important to be able to speak to
It's
their guardian
important because a
angel?
lot of people think that they're doing this journey alone. And
Mm.
even if you don't have a partner, you're never alone,
Yeah.
right? You've got
Yeah.
a spirit team. And once you find you've got the confidence to connect with your guardian angel, because they're always there, you
Mm-hmm.
find that people then start to open up more. They relax more. They get used to chatting with their spirit team. They get used to the fact that there's other things and beings and entities around them. So it opens them up. And then
Mm-hmm.
when they start chatting and say well, my guardian angel's name is Ezra. So when I chat with Ezra, I we have a really good conversation. But even if it's just, can you help me? Or I'm feeling a bit down, they've got somebody to say, can you help me feel a bit better today? Can you help me get
Mm-hmm.
through this today? Can you help me protect my energy today? Can you? And they get used to asking for help outside of themselves. Do you know what I mean? Rather than feeling like they have to be perhaps even in a victim mode, it takes
Mm-hmm.
them out of that space and into a space where they're learning to trust the other side.
The it's like a learning to trust the co-creative source energy and the that's there to help guide us and everything. And
Absolutely.
for me, like and this is something that is I've realized I've done in the past was giving my power away to other
Yes.
people, other coaches, other mentors, other even to source, right? Like just help me, help me, help me, help me, and never trusting
Yeah.
myself. But so how do you help them find the balance between asking for help and then also trusting themselves
Brilliant.
and their ability to help themselves?
Well, I find that once they understand that they actually are making a connection, and the easiest connection for them to make is the guardian angel,
Mm-hmm.
then they start to trust that, okay, those messages I'm getting, they actually are real. They learn to do things, they learn to work with things and ask for confirmation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. So, give yourself 48 hours, ask for confirmation. They get to do that. The excitement rises and they start to realize that it's real, that it's all
Mm-hmm.
real, that they're not just kidding themselves. And this is
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that people find that they'll often say to you, oh, I get these messages, but I get these things, but it's just my mind telling me what it is, or it's just so they learn that when messages and things come through, that they can learn to trust it. And then we go on and we help them to learn about their Clair senses. So
Okay.
we get them to tune into what their clair senses are, because we all
Hmm.
have all of the clair senses. However, whatever is going on with you at the moment for this particular lifetime, whatever you've done in previous lifetimes, they start to learn that certain clair senses are stronger than others. So some
Right.
people will have the clairvoyance, the visual. Some people will hear things. Some people will get the claircognizance, where they're just that inner knowing. Once they
Hmm.
start to then attune that with realizing that what they're sensing, feeling, hearing is actually real, and their
Yeah.
clair senses are giving them that information, it starts off a little bit of a chain of events. So they start to then find that dreams come in and make a little more sense. They're finding that they're actually listening to things that are working for them. We get them to use an intuitive journal and say,
Hmm.
okay, how often did you listen to your intuition today? Did it work for you? How did it turn out? What did you do? Did you override it? Did you do this? And we have fun. And one of the big things they'll find is, because they're letting go of the fear of the other side or the unknown, they start to have so much fun.
Mm.
And we do fun things like with one of my groups at the moment. We're looking at the difference between choice and decision.
Hmm.
And the simple thing we're doing is, when you go to your wardrobe of a morning to choose, where you pick out your clothes, are you deciding, is there a debate going on about what you're going to wear? Or are you simply choosing?
Mm.
And they're looking at the difference of that. And so they're popping into the WhatsApp group, today I chose, or today I decided on this because, but they're getting to then understand what is going on with them, and how they're actually working, and what the language is that they're using in their mind. We get them to learn things like, if a little something that those who are watching us might want to try is that your mind has its own language.
Hmm.
And often that language and that mind will override, information that's coming through. So if you were to look at something, just something simple that you know what it is, without your mind telling you what it is. So look at something, stare at it. It might be a water bottle. You look at it, and you then stop your mind from actually telling you what it is. Feel that panic that comes in. That panic comes in because your mind goes, it's trying to tell you it's a water bottle. It's pink. It does this. It looks like this. And it's because your mind's trying to take control. And
Mm.
this is a big thing for people, is that they find that their mind is overriding everything. So once you
Yeah.
understand that you can control that, and even for 2 seconds, you know, sometimes it just takes 2 seconds to let that message drop in. And once you understand that there is a space between the words, you find that the messages that can then come in, the connection becomes, more simplified. It becomes clearer, and it becomes the fact that there's a relationship going on. Does that make
So you're
sense?
saying, so essentially you're saying, with this all is spiritual development, but you're saying like just look at an item and instead of naming what it is, just look at the item and let
Look at it
messages
without
start
it.
coming through.
And what will happen is your mind will start to want to tell you, and you push it away.
Mm-hmm.
You push it away because you actually find it starts to do a bit of a panic. It
Hmm.
panics about, it wants to tell you, there's this urgency. If you can learn to deal with that, if you can find that you can just push it away, that's where people struggle with meditation,
Mm-hmm.
is because their mind's constantly going, and they say to me, oh, I can't meditate, I can't do
Yeah.
this, I can't. And of course, the I can't comes in.
Yeah.
And then I say to them, okay, here's something. One thing is, Archangel Michael said to me, take your mind and put it on a shelf somewhere, know that it's safe and it's
Yeah.
fine. But what also happens is, and find the space between the words. But that can be tricky, when, especially if you've got an overactive mind. And I'm a little bit of an overthinker, so I felt that
I
that
think we
was
all
actually what.
are these days with how
Yeah,
we are on apps, right? We are overstimulated our brain, so it doesn't know how
that's
to
right.
not have
Absolutely.
a short attention span.
So if you can stop your mind from having that conversation with you all the time, if you can train yourself to be able to stop that thought process from coming in, it makes it
Hmm.
so much easier to
It
then
is.
find the space between the words, to then get into the meditation, to then make your connection.
Yeah. What I was taught and what I teach my clients I'm pretty sure I was taught this, but like when I first developed my psychic abilities and was learning how to meditate, because I was one of those people that was like, I cannot meditate, I can't shut my mind off, right? Was imagining like it's really your ego, right? Like your ego's coming in and saying all these things, these sentences, and like doesn't let your mind be quiet.
Yeah.
So it was literally like imagining for me, it's like this white cartoon looking man who is like in my head, and I would say, please go and sit in the chair, in the back on the left side of my head. And I would imagine this little man walking like from here to the back
Yeah.
of my head, like, and sitting in a chair and saying, thank you. Like, I appreciate you. I know you're trying to keep me
That's,
safe, but I just need you to go take a rest for right now. And then for
yeah.
me, that's kind of like you're moving your ego out of the way, out of the logical mind, right? Like, so that
Right.
you're quieting your logical side of your brain so that your emotional side, your intuitive side can come through.
That's
So,
right. Your true identity starts to step in then,
yeah.
because sometimes, we've got this overarching identity of who we are programmed to be, and it's not always who we really are.
Hmm. So, another thing that you said that was interesting that I laughed about was like you start to have dreams and understand them more. Like, I'm a very intuitive person. My third eye is open, like crown, it's all open. My dreams, I can't even explain to you half the time. I don't even know where I'm going, it's like the most bizarre things that don't make sense at all sometimes. And I'm like, what? Like I was laughing. I was telling my husband this morning, I was like, so the other day I had a dream that this little shark that's like this big came up from the ground or whatever, and like I'm in a room nowhere near water, and he's asking me to brush his teeth. And like he's just opening his mouth with like, and I'm brushing his teeth with this weird looking toothbrush thing, and then he's like kind of like motioning to be like, you missed a spot, like, and so I'm like, what is that about? Like, you know what I mean? It's so bizarre. But like,
Yeah.
so it's kind of like when you start opening these faculties, these clairs and stuff like that, it could get a bit wild, no?
It can absolutely get wild. The thing is, you can also do though is you can ask your spirit team to help you get a bit of clarity around it, and
Mm.
you can say to them, what is it that I'm actually, what does this mean? Where does it mean? Ask for guidance, ask for clarity around it. I mean, I hear you. I had a dream yesterday morning. I woke up going, that was really weird. I had a dream that my grandmother was a white witch,
Mm.
but she still looked like Graham,
Mm-hmm.
when she was older and everything. But then suddenly she turned into this white witch, and then all of these bushes started speaking, and then all of
Mm.
this other, and I'm like, I think I need to sit on that. But what actually came to me today was that in a previous life she had been a white witch,
Mm-hmm.
so she was coming
Mm.
through to me in that energy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, which is so
Speaking to me.
beautiful.
It
So you
is.
talk,
It is.
yeah. And so you talked about connecting with, other people from the other side, like other spirits from the other side. So
Yes.
we have, our spirit team, which are like guides, can be ancestors, can be past loved ones. We have our angels. So is that what you mean by connecting with others on the other side? Or
Yeah.
do you mean like, I want to talk to my grandmother, so now I can do that?
Both. Both. You can do that. You can do that because we only have to think of them and they're there, right? There's
Mm.
no barrier on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do that. I have lots of clients who have got their mum who they call in on a regular basis still and chat with them and do things. But it can also be perhaps your starting, the
Mm-hmm.
Palladians, your
Mm-hmm.
Arcturians, the Syrians,
Mm-hmm.
all of that. It may be the dragons. You may find because we've all got a range of different guides.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually got one of my a friend of mine passed away several years ago, and he has become one of my guides. He both asked permission and was assigned as being one of my guides now. So he
Mm-hmm.
comes through and we have conversations,
Yeah.
and which is great. It's really good. I now call him by his higher self name, not by the name I knew him from. We had been a brother and sister in a previous life. So when
Mm-hmm.
we met, boom, we were brother and sister again straight away.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing that I do with the amazing women that I work with is they start to attract their soul family.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. And what does soul family mean? Because some people don't really even know what that is.
Well, soul family, they are people who are part of your literally your soul family. They are related to you on the soul level. So they are connected to you. They are part of your family on the other side. And that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't necessarily mean blood related. Okay, so they're not
Mm.
necessarily relations. You may not even have had a blood relationship with them on. They may not be part of your ancestry for where you are now, but you've probably had relationships with them in previous lifetimes
Mm-hmm.
because we've had so many lifetimes, right? We get to the
Right, that you
stage.
don't even realize it. And like,
Yeah,
yeah, like, and you don't realize a lot of people don't realize that like your daughter now was actually your father in a previous lifetime, or like I did a past regression where my father was my son, you know? So it's so interesting how we kind of stick together.
it is my granddaughter right now. I know who she was in a previous lifetime.
Mm.
And she was actually my great auntie
Oh, that's
in a
nice.
previous lifetime. I knew her in this lifetime before she passed. And then she
Oh,
came to me and said she was going to come back into the family again. Didn't know necessarily it was who, where. And then my daughter-in-law was pregnant, and suddenly this is probably a bit weird, but her friend came to me in spirit form and said, Ruby's come back.
hmm.
And that's when I realized when she was born who she was. I have not told my son or my daughter in law or any of that. Just like that's not an issue for them. It wasn't meant to be shared with them. But she
Yeah.
and I have this bond.
Mm.
And that's basically where it's come from, is that because we recognize that, we are part of both the soul family and the blood family as well,
Yeah, yeah. So
relations.
really, I think a powerful thing too is like going back to like reaching out to past loved ones, is that you can talk to them whenever you want. And so like what does that look like for someone? Like is that something that you have an internal dialogue in your head and you just hear it in your head? Or can you
It's
like is it like free writing or is it out loud and you hear it?
it's different for everybody. And I say to everybody, we look at different ways to connect. So some
Mm-hmm.
people will hear the voices in their head. I think
Yeah.
the big thing for people to get over is when they are hearing this, it sounds a little bit like their voice as well, still,
Mm-hmm.
so most of the time. But I say to people, it's a bit like when you're reading a book. When you're
Yeah.
reading a book, your characters are talking to you, right? And it's the same sort of thing. So it might be that they might actually see, some people might actually see. So their
Mm-hmm.
clairvoyance might be kicked in there. Some people will feel, some people will speak, sometimes they connect through messages. So
Yeah.
there might be, you might ask a question and your loved one will give you an answer through a song or a symbol, the same as any
Mm.
other spirit guide does, right? But you might also find that, yes, automatic writing, that's one of the ways I channel is
Mm-hmm.
automatic writing. And so even through downloads, so I
Yeah.
say to them, okay, ask a question, do a meditation, ask a question of your loved one, and then journal, do
Hmm.
some
Yeah.
journaling
Just let
because
yourself write
generally
whatever.
journaling is
Yeah.
downloading, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Just like whatever comes to mind, just write it down, even if it makes
Write it
no
down
sense
and
at
don't
all.
question it. That's the big thing.
Hmm.
Is that
Hmm.
they'll come to me and they'll go, oh, I got this, and this came out when I journaled. Does this make sense? And it's like, well, does it make sense to you? I don't know. To me, it probably doesn't. But to you, does it make sense?
Yeah.
And they're like, yes. And I'm like, okay, cool. That's good. Well, that's the message. That's the answer. Ask a question. And I say to people, just don't be frightened to ask a question.
Yeah. Yeah. It could be anything, whatever. It could be silly or it could be serious, right? And also, I would just say, like, give it a little bit of time. If it doesn't come through right away, give it a little bit of
Mm,
time. It might come through in the next day or in a dream or like,
yeah.
in a week or whatever. Don't get
You might see a sign
discouraged.
on the side of a truck, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like whatever, whatever
Yeah.
it is, and be open. And that's the big thing. And I think that's probably the limiting thing that I find most people struggle with is being
Mm-hmm.
open to it all.
Yeah.
And that's why, as I said, when we go back to when they first come in, I introduce them to their guardian angel because it helps them to at least know there's somebody there for them,
Yeah, yeah, and it's
you
easier
know?
for them to for their like their analytical mind to kind of wrap
Yes.
around actually asking for guidance and a question and being like believing it, right? When they have that name and
Yes.
they have that like It's like, it's kind of like guides don't really are not human form. They're not actually
No.
in human form, but our brain sees them in human form. So it helps us connect with them on a deeper level because we're
Oh,
human. So that's
absolutely.
how we connect with them and being able to really do that. So it's like these are the methods that are going to help you actually feel that connection, which is so great.
That's right. And that's the thing is there's really three levels to it. There's connection, there's clarity for that connection. So we clarify the connection and then we calibrate it. So it's a
Mm.
bit like tuning in the radio station, right? So
Yeah.
on a dial. So that's I find that those once we start getting the connections coming in, we then start to clarify them, then we calibrate them. And that means that it's for a lot of us, we like processes as well. So that's a kind of process that people can understand.
Hmm.
So it's which is interesting because with that, and you'll notice I've got one or two crystals. So we also talk about frequency and energy. I
Hmm.
have crystals everywhere.
Yeah, no, me too.
I open up
You should
handbags
see
I
my
haven't
desk
used for
right now.
ages.
Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, they're great. It's funny though, some people can't feel them, some people can feel them. Some people find that once they start getting, and I find this interesting, once they start getting a bit of a connection, they start to feel their crystals. And they couldn't feel
Hmm. Mm.
because they're actually opening up to the frequency. And they go,
Yeah.
oh, hang on. So I also work with them with pendulums. It's another way that people can connect, but I teach them to be protected with their pendulums.
Hmm.
Check who you're talking to, check who you're speaking to.
Yeah.
And I say to them, the first thing to do is I always teach them connect to your guardian angel first. Let's get that going because they're there, your guardian angel.
Right.
If you feel a little unsafe, call in Archangel Michael, right? And the reason we start with these is because most people understand that, for example, these particular angels, they're familiar to us in our language
Hmm.
as a human.
Yeah.
And then we take off and we meet the most amazing angels, right? We meet the most amazing elements and spirit animals and guides and things all come through, which is amazing, which is
Sounds
wonderful.
so much fun. Like, I would be
It
like,
is
ooh.
fun. It is fun. And that's the big thing is I say to them, the best way to not be afraid of things is to simply have fun.
I love
Have
that.
fun along the way. And
Yeah,
we
I
do
love
some
that.
fun things with them as well. As I was saying, that's like even the picking your clothes that you're wearing.
Yeah.
And they look at the not only the color, but why they've picked it and later on. And yeah, that's fun. And we look at the power of words, language, things that
Hmm.
are don't say want and need. Let's say
Yeah.
perhaps we say desire and deserve and all of that. And it's all part of it. It's all mixed in. It's all part of who we are and what we do. And it's fun. It's fun.
Beautiful.
And we incorporate it as part of practicality.
And so
You've
this is like your group container that you have, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And so tell me, how can people, if they're interested in working with you in this container, how can they get in touch with you or how they get started?
Well, if they find me on Facebook, and I'm sure we'll have the link there, they can
Yes.
connect with me through Facebook or through LinkedIn. I'm there. They can then reach out and we can have a bit of a chat, or I can send them some information. I have a 5-minute angelic frequency shift
Hmm.
meditation, which I'm happy to share with them, which is really nice. It's just a matter of, 5 minutes of just letting your mind realize that there's a little bit of a shift into the angelic realm. And it's
Mm.
it's a nice starting point.
Is that the free gift that you're,
Yes.
giving? Yeah, so beautiful. So that link all the links will be in the description below, so you can definitely take
Yeah.
advantage of that, have something to start with. And then,
Yeah.
of course, if you are interested in this process, this movements, the spiritual development of meeting your guides, your angels, and having fun, make sure you
Yeah.
reach out to Janelle. Thank you so much for your time and this conversation. It's been so fun and
I'm grateful and I
yeah.
appreciate you. This has been so much fun. I've enjoyed a lot of this, and there's so much more we can explore. But
Yeah.
I love your energy. I love doing this, and I love working with women to help them become and evolve into who they are really truly meant to be.
Exactly. The fullest expression of yourself. I love that so much.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Well, thank you again for all your work and for sharing with us. And we will see you next time on the Light Council series. Take care, everyone.